Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Super Thundercast. I'll go first this time.
Yeah.
I'm Chris.
I'm Alex.
We fucked that up.
Yeah, as we always do.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be an episode without a really awkward, cringy introduction.
No, I think we should just have play select music instead of this time around.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
With a choose your character.
Yeah. Because this week, this month, we're talking about your fighting games. Because we've been playing them and got strong thoughts and feelings on the matter.
Oh yeah, well, it's specifically the one-on-one fight. It's not like in brawlers or anything like that, even though we probably will do an episode on that kind of thing.
We probably do need to, based on
yeah.
Yeah, but today we are solely focused on games where it's 1-on-1 or 3-on-3 fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Because god damn it.
Man v man, or man versus computer, or sometimes even computer versus computer, and you bet on it. But, either way, it's your traditional beat 'em up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so what's your favourite thing about a fighting game then? Let's just jump right in.
Favourite thing about a fighting game?
Yeah.
I think, with me, fighting games are kind of the only time I get competitive when it comes to gaming. I've played a lot of multiplayer games in my time, but my favourite thing about fighting games is probably the same thing that a lot of people who get into esports where it's more like...
It's something for them to be competitive about because they've never been competitive in any other environment.
No, not that. It's like, I think that beat 'em ups, when you get into it, it truly is who is the better player, what it comes down to. Because it's when you watch pro matches and stuff like that, no one's button mashing. They know all their combos. It's more about who reads the other player better. And I find that really, really interesting. But even on a really low level,
it still does that. Cause it's
and it's still who has better command of their character or better understanding of the systems of the game. And it's it truly is who is the better player.
It's who's the most reactive as well. Because we've both been playing a lot of the Dragon Ball Fighters.
So fucking good.
Front runner for Game of the Year so far.
So far, yeah.
So goddamn good and so unbelievably pretty.
Oh, yeah.
It's you sit there and go, holy shit, this looks incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sweet HD Toriyama art.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't be right without a reference to it, but it makes me so hyped for things that have come in that I'm not going to mention.
It's funny, though, because it's that's another thing. In beat 'em ups, because, all you need is at least two characters and a stage that isn't necessarily very big, they can really go to town on the visuals. It's like Tekken 7. How fucking good did that game look?
Yeah. Oh, this is the other things. We've been pretty critical of Game in the past, and we both used to work there, and we fucking shilled it a good one the other day. We went to one of the Belong things.
Yeah.
And we went in expecting it to be shit, and it really wasn't.
No,
it was really annoying. It's we got a sofa in a quiet little corner and just got to play Tekken and Dragon Ball, and it was shit. Yeah, this is really good. Other than the weird girl that was playing Super Hot stood really close behind us, so every now and then you could feel mad flailing. But beyond that, it was this is quite nice. It redefined how I want to eventually have a gaming setup, because I want a sofa 2 feet from a wall with a wall-mounted TV at head height. It was awesome.
But it's that, and it kind of had that. It didn't feel like an arcade, obviously, but that's something that we're that weird generation where arcades were dying out as we were getting into video games. And there wasn't really many public places to go and play.
Yeah, there was little backstreet things Preston used to have one called LAN-Zone.
Yeah.
But that was just...
It was just PC.
The thing is, it was LANs, because that was we've come in as arcades died, but online gaming came up.
Yeah.
So it's places like Japan have got your mad arcades. But it's even then, you get arcade machines that have got online connectivity. So you can't fight the guy opposite you because there's no one there. He will find you someone somewhere else.
Somewhere in a different part of the country or something. But it's we have that. We don't have anything, or we didn't really have anything to engage with like that. And it seems like this is a really kind of positive thing. Like they have like
fight nights and stuff, and it was like it was taking the idea of, because gaming used to be something you go to an arcade and you do in a group with your friends, and then it became so much more solitary, and then it became giving one another shit over the internet, and now it's kind of becoming, if you're going to give someone shit, make sure they're not in the fucking room. It's like, but it's like, it's weird when you think about stuff like, this is one of the things when we think about fighting games. When you think about Street Fighter and stuff like that, and you watch like the videos of when Street Fighter 2 or Third Strike came out, and you see like the massive queues in arcades and stuff. For us, it was playing it on a SNES in the living room one-on-one with someone, or it was like,
not necessarily playing with someone who knows how to play the game either. So it's just like poking at each other. Whereas like you look at some of the
one fucker that had figured out the one fucker in your school who'd figured out the Hadouken was like a god.
Yeah, just doing it at the other side of the screen. You're there like getting hit by it every time because you're an idiot child, and you're like, how do I beat him? How?
No, I thought the best thing about this was because I fell into that category of being the one who got Hadoukened all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I learned to get around it was to play as Blanca and jump at them, and on the way down and Y. I'm electrocute you. Tased, fool.
See, like Street Fighter 2, like in our very early recordings, like I talked about how Street Fighter 2 is like one of my favorite games ever, really. It was never a game that I ever played with people though. It was really, and that's what it was designed around. Like that's one of the things about fighting games, they're designed to be kind of a competitive environment. And I never had that. But I think that if I'd grown up in like the times when arcades were a thing, I'd probably be a much better Street Fighter player, a much better beat 'em up player, and two, I'd probably be a much more competitive person.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like I'd never really seen competitive Al. As we'll treat them like we'll treat competitive Al like a separate entity.
Yeah, because he's not me.
But what happens is essentially
I get mad as fuck.
You string a couple of wins together on Dragon Ball, and a biblical miracle occurs because Alex turns into a pillar of salt.
Honest to God,
so mad, and then just going, sorry, I'm being a bitch.
I'm not calling you a cunt. It's the game.
He's like, oh, you bitch, not you. You know what I mean? It's me being a bitch. I'm sorry. It's like the most apologetic, hyper-competitive thing ever, and it's quite funny to behold. When we were both getting mad, it was that was the good thing though. It was like he said, it was like we were playing the game and getting into it and wanting to do better, and we were
learning off one another.
Yeah, feeling out stuff. And it was like, neither of us kind of like downloaded the other person. So we haven't figured each other out. But you started working out what like the tells and reads on certain stuff were.
Yeah.
Like,
you started figuring out like the different kind of combos that you kind of lead in with, and you kind of know where to block and when's the most optimal time to try and evade or something. And I don't think you get that with other kind of games.
No. I think there was really nice points in it as well where we were basically countering off one another perfectly. Yeah. And because of the way that game's like art style and mechanics all work, it starts to simulate a fight from the series.
Oh yeah.
So you had like Dragon rushing into one another, then both teleporting around one another, not hitting one another, then doing the thing where you both try and hit one another and they block each other.
Oh, it's so
and it was just like, it was like frame perfect counters on one another almost, but completely by accident because we are not that good.
Oh no, we're not. Like for some reason, I've forgotten how to do a quarter turn. How does that happen? I played Street Fighter 4 pretty much from the day it came out to the day I stopped playing with my PS3. I can't do a quarter turn anymore.
I don't know what it is. I think it might be control like analog sticks because I can't do one on that. But I have tried on. I've got a little tiny shitty arcade machine down there.
Yeah.
I tried it on that, could do a quarter turn. Tried it on the Switch, could do a quarter turn. I'm convinced it's the DualShock pads.
Yeah, he'll just drop him.
Because I've found that the only way I can get a quarter turn to be anything looking like consistent is he's not a quarter turn.
Which is really
it is a full turn.
But it's really fucking weird because in that fight with Goey versus Sonic Fox is using a PlayStation 4 pad.
Yeah,
that's the mental thing.
He's meticulous in places, and you're like, well, I want to know what he's doing.
He's just fucking amazing at that game. Like, this is his game.
Do you think, though, that he's probably not using an out-of-the-box pad?
Yeah.
Do you not think that he's probably going to be...
test that kind of thing.
I don't mean like it's modded, but I mean like, you know, like you can get like the scuff controllers and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a DualShock, but the quality's all a bit nicer.
Maybe, it could be.
Because I keep thinking about maybe getting one of them, but that's
one of the fight pads or something.
Yeah, I'm just sick of the analog sticks on these two DualShocks.
Well,
they're getting a bit old.
I've already seen the kind of converter where I can use my PS3 stick on my PS4. I've been thinking about getting one of them, but it's weird. It's like fighting games, once they get hold of you, or me in particular anyway, like I was saying, I played a lot of Street Fighter 4 in my time. Like, it's kind of the only fighting game I've ever actually experienced in an arcade, and it's like,
that's true.
Yeah, and it was, yeah,
that was one of those like formative gaming experiences. Because we were in 20s when it happened. It was still like,
there's nothing like it.
Holy shit! It was like you kind of heard about what like Akihabara and arcades and stuff are like, and then you actually went in and like, this is like super intense in terms of like the quality of play, but it was also super chilled out.
Oh yeah.
And then we got paggered. We've told our great gaming story. We got passed around
by an El Fuerte player.
Like, I mean, it was our first day in prison and he owned the yard. It was horrendous. He moved from Alex to me, to Alex to me, let us dry our tears, and then continued. And then
we eventually got him.
We sussed him. And we both fucked him up. And he stormed out the arcade. We high-fived. We went and played Deadstone Pirates and got looked at like a gay couple abroad.
Wow.
We completely misread why that machine was moving. It was like...
but yeah, I mean, I think that kind of feeling you don't get playing any other kind of game,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like it was that thing. It sounds really stupid because we were so hyped that we just won. It was that we'd won there. It was like, because there is that thing. It's like, it's one of the questions we'll come back to later, but it is that thing where you kind of go, when you're playing online and stuff, you're almost watching what country someone's from when it comes to an esport, because there is an assumption that because you're in Europe, you're probably not as good as everyone else.
Well, another thing is netcode as well. I mean, like, if you're, and again, this comes down to something that's in a question later. A lot of the Japanese fighters, the netcode isn't that great, and if you're going across region, you pretty much, like, it's not unplayable, but people who know what they're doing will find it unplayable, will notice lag and input lag and stuff like that. And
I noticed on Dragon Ball, even like a couple of frame delay
sometimes
throws it, and it's just
that's
depends on who you're playing as. It's like, for example, Krillin in Android 18 and Yamcha, but all seem really obtuse to play as or against when there's a frame delay, because the moves are all kind of a lot more situational.
Well, it's really funny. It's like it's not really funny, but that's one of the big criticisms of it. I mean, at the moment, we're not experiencing that bad of a problem with it, because it's kind of
be abysmal when it started, though.
Well, the beta, I couldn't connect to anyone.
I had 2 fights on the beta,
but at the moment, because the player base is so big, it's not too bad, and you'll generally match up with people in your region, so it's okay. But when after Evo, when some people start thinking, I've had enough of Dragon Ball now, I'll go back to playing like Street Fighter or something. Then,
you mean when it stops being like the next big thing?
Yeah, when you're only left with people who are good at it.
Or it's going to be like when the BlazBlue Persona crossover comes out.
Yeah.
And there's all the people who will just kind of jump from fighting game to fighting game to fighting game.
Yeah.
Because I imagine if we were playing Tekken now, it's probably harder to get a game on that than it would have been.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing is as well, like, we're in the run up to kind of Evo now, so you got people basically
practicing.
Yeah, practicing the shit out of the games that are going to be there. So you got, what is it this year? It's Street Fighter, but you've got Dragon Ball.
Injustice, one of them as well.
I think it's Injustice 2, yeah. And
that game looks like the sort of thing I'd love to be good at, but I don't know what it is about it.
I'm not a fan of the Mortal Kombat style fighters.
No. It's got the Ninja Turtles in it, and I'm like, I want to play it because I get to beat people up as a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. But you gotta respect that.
Yeah, but I'm like, but it's like you said, it's that kind of... You watch some of the high-level stuff of that, and it's just fucking mad.
Well, it's all juggling, and it's one of the things that kind of... When Mortal Kombat XL happened, like the big update to X and XL, and a lot of the fighting game community was like really hyping it up, saying like, this is literally the most complete fighting game we have at the moment. Because it really was. It had loads in it. I just could not get my head around I just can't get my head around the way Mortal Kombat plays, like the block button. So do they still have the block button?
No, you pull.
Is it pull back now?
I think you pull back.
It used to be a block button. And that was fucking...
But that was on
that was like Trilogy and stuff.
That was on like things like Deception and stuff on the PS2 where you had Edema on the soundtrack.
Fucking Edema.
Jesus. But that's
another thing with fighting games. Music is always edgy as fuck. It's great.
Yeah. It's like, well, this is the thing. It's like fighting games have kind of modernised in some ways, but in others they still kind of have that kind of purist. I want to say purist sounds like such a tossy thing, but you know what I mean. Like it's got that thing that when you started playing games at the age we were, and like started properly getting into it, we were like, yes, edgelord as fuck music. Yes,
skulls.
Everything's got skulls and spikes on it. It's a game about punching people, and I'm 14, and I'm burning through testosterone at a rate of knots, and I don't know what to do with it. So getting to hit virtual people is helping. Yes.
Yeah, it's...
And Dead or Alive, confusing boys for generations.
Oh, no, you either got it or you didn't. That's the thing with Dead or Alive.
I know people who played so much Dead or Alive that I didn't want to sit on anything in their house. It's like, that's how bad it were. It's like,
I played a lot of Dead or Alive. I like Dead or Alive too. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah. So we've talked a bit about Dragon Ball.
Well, what's your favourite thing about fighting games?
Oh yeah, shit. My favourite thing about fighting games, I think it is just kind of that. It's that thing. It's like what we did when we were at the Belong place, and it's obviously it's like they're just such a good fucking laugh to just have a bunch of people around somewhere and just everyone like on a couch, winner stays on, just kind of rotating through people.
It takes you back, doesn't it? It takes you back to when you had a PlayStation 1 with Tekken 3 on it, and it was like you, 4 of your mates, and it's like one of you is inevitably Eddie Gordo.
Most of my favourite gaming moments involve a fighting game. So you've got, when we were in Japan, we're playing in the arcade. Fucking awesome. When I was 10 and I got my PlayStation 1 and it was Christmas and my family came round. And what followed was PlayStation got set up on the telly in the dining room and I sat in one chair and there was a revolving door of my cousin's dad and uncles on the chair next to me, and I basically emasculated every male member of my family that day. It was incredible. And then the other one was probably the first sort of experience with fighting games I had was I stayed over at my next door neighbour's house when I was a kid, about 6 or 7, and the guy came around that you could rent SNES games off in his van. Not creepy as fuck in the slightest. And he was like 50p, you could rent a game for 2 days, and we rented Street Fighter 2. It was probably, can't remember which one it was, so it was like Street Fighter 2 Turbo Rainbow Champion Edition.
Who was Jazz there? Not Jazz, DJ.
T-Hawk was in it.
T-Hawk? Yeah, it's T-Hawk. Yeah. I think T-Hawk and DJ and Cammy, I think.
Yeah, so it had as many people as I can think that were in Street Fighter 2 in it.
Challenges then.
Yeah, there was loads of people in it, but it was that and Mortal Kombat we rented. And no, it was might be Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
And we had a printout off the internet of how to do the fatalities. And we were literally sat there trying to work out how to do them and getting hype as fuck when we did, because we were like, oh my god,
Little
it was like
7-year-old you with bloodlust.
It was we were like trying to work out like, how to do like 9 button combos. Like it's 9 images, like down, up, down, and like just hammering buttons trying to get it to work, and just like. But it was about 7 of us just in my mate's living room till like 5 in the morning, just winner staying on, and just like constantly just like different combinations of people and like drawing up tournament brackets and seeing who'd win and stuff. And it was like, I love that about fighting games. I love that they've still retained that kind of.
It's cool that they've still got that.
And we've kind of grown with it as well. So we're at a point now, like, I'm looking at moving house. I know what I want to do for a housewarming party. I want my fiance to fuck off for the evening, and I want to get some pizzas, some beers, and get people around and just play fighting games.
Yeah.
Because it would be so much fun.
Well, it's like, it's really funny. Because, I mean, if I think about it, like, every time there has been, like, a development in terms of, like, video games and, like, the consoles and stuff, some of the things I've been most excited about is, like, the next big fighting game.
Yeah.
Like, you saw what I was like when Street Fighter 4 came out.
Yes,
I
was there.
Day off from uni, got the big bad edition. I'd already bought a stick, and I was like, ready to fucking go.
Tekken 6 when I got the one with the hoodie.
Okay.
I got the Tekken 6 edition with the hoodie because the one I'd ordered the one that came with all the other stuff. I'd ordered the one that came with the stick. And what had happened through fuckery was they sent the one with the hoodie and an arcade stick that was like a weird. No, I bought my arcade stick off you, didn't I?
I gave it you.
Didn't I give you 20 quid for that stick?
No, you didn't give me 20 quid for it. I just gave it because I bought
20 quid for an arcade
stick.
No,
you don't, because I got my decent Street Fighter one for that.
Yeah, because we ended up with a stick each, and it was just like we got hype as fuck for completely different games.
Oh yeah.
But then I got Street Fighter, and we were like, all right, yeah.
But it's like those old memories of like. You and your dad sitting there, like you've just got your PlayStation or something, and you and your dad sitting there playing Tekken. It's like we did the exact same thing. I did the exact same thing when I got my PlayStation and Tekken 2. And it was like my dad, no fucking idea what's going on. Me being about 10 and being like, don't know about this. But that guy with the crazy hair and no shirt on, he's gonna get kicked in the head. And it's
that thing where it's like when you're playing these fighting games when you're a kid as well, and you've got all like your dads and your uncles and stuff sitting down like, what's all this then? Like trying to pretend they're not giddy as fuck because they're looking at it like it's some sort of ensorcelled magic box because they remember Frogger, and it's like, Jesus Christ. I remember when my dad first saw something like, my dad used to play like Doom and TIE Fighter and stuff, so we'd seen like PC games and stuff, and then I put on like stuff like Spyro the Dragon and things, and he was looking at it and going, bloody hell. He was like, because he's like, the speed as a medium that it's come on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
can you remember your reactions when you saw the screenshots of Tekken Tag Tournament for the PS2?
I nearly shit myself.
Exactly. It's like, holy shit, I did not think games could be that pretty. And it's like, I mean, now, just fucking look at Dragon Ball. I mean, even stuff like BlazBlue and stuff like that, like how quick it moves and how detailed the sprites are and stuff, and the frames of animation, it's incredible.
BlazBlue is... Oh, see, other favourite thing about fighting games, we've already touched on the soundtrack, but there are some soundtracks to fighting games that are just above and beyond anything else in games, and it's like, you've got you got to think about it, it's like, the soundtrack to Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2 is so fucking good.
Just ingrained.
Some of the songs have become frigging memes. Yeah. Like Guile's theme is amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's still like some of the most recognisable. And because I spent so much time playing Street Fighter 2, it's like I can hear it now when I'm talking about it. I can hear fucking Guile's theme and Chun-Li's theme and stuff like that just in my head. And it's like, those are memories that are one of the reasons why I like gaming so much. It's
the other nice thing as well is do you remember when we had that like games night and we were playing Street Fighter 4 and it was either at your mum and dad's or it was at mine?
It was probably at yours.
And we played like older games first because it was just after I got that SNES.
Yeah.
So we had a crack at Street Fighter 2, like Vanilla Edition.
Yeah.
And then we went on the PS2 and we had a crack at Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went on to Street Fighter because it was doing a shitload of updates and stuff, so we just left it going. And it was just... The input was the same, and it was just throwing a fireball.
Yeah.
And it was just... You couldn't help but, like, watch how it's developed and just kind of grin, because there's something really, really nice. Like when we were playing Tekken at that Belong place.
Yeah.
And I got to play as Jin, and the first thing I did was Demon Poison.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah.
And I was like, I should have known that was coming.
My fucking bread and butter move on that game is just sidestep Demon Paw. It was just like... It was like just doing that stuff. It's just like when there's... Learning a character on a series of games is just... There's something really satisfying about it, because it feels like you've not only got like favourite characters, but it creates a point of accessibility that I don't think a lot of... Like if you were someone who's completely new to a fighting game franchise, you come in and you've got to learn how that works. Whereas I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 2. I've been playing like BlazBlue since the first one, and it's like...
Well, I think this is going to play into a question later on that we've got, and it's... I think that's a very interesting thing that you've kind of hit across there.
There's a degree of familiarity that's comforting about fighting games, which I really like.
There is.
Because the other thing is as well, they're not a constant annual franchise, so it's like, when there's a new one... Like, not necessarily Street Fighter,
it gets silly,
a bit daft.
It's like every 2 years is a different version of it, and they want you to pay a full 40 quid for it.
But, I mean, like, when there's, like, a numbered title, or, like, for example, Tekken isn't constant.
No, it's like a good three to 4 year gap between
Mortal Kombat isn't constant.
No.
Injustice games, you might see an Injustice 3 get announced this year, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, you go through these games, and there's kind of that, oh, cool, they're doing another one, and it's like it kind of pulls you back into it, because you can bounce off a fighting game quite hard, I think.
Really
but
can.
If you get a franchise that proper gets its hooks into you, and they announce another one, it doesn't matter how long it's been since you played the first one, you're going to buy it. It's like when they announced Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I nearly went through the fucking roof. I was that excited.
And Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is one of those games that, like, to some people is genre defining. Like, to some people.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is...
I mean,
is up there on not just, like, top fighting games for me. It's up there on, like, my top games, because I adore that game.
It's incredible.
I've got it on the Dreamcast and the PS2. That's how good it is. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it on multiple things.
Yeah. I think I've done that with... I don't really know. Like, I've done that with a couple of fighting games. I think Street Fighter 3, I've got, 4 versions of.
I've got
the PS2, the one that was released on the PS2 with the... I think it's on the PS2.
Yeah, you got that one that comes with, like, the puzzle fighter and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do. I love that.
And you've got Third Strike on the PS3 as the download.
Yeah. I've got an emulated version, just generally on my PC, which runs like super fast, and it's got that, I think, what's it called? Is it Fightcade?
Yeah.
It's called Fightcade, where I can like play with just general people, and I never do because I get fucking
annihilated.
Smashed, yeah, by someone who only has ever played Street Fighter 3 and knows everything. And actually, yeah, I think I've only got those 3 versions, but it's but yeah, I mean, the fucking revelation, like when you have a fighting game that you click with, and I just don't think you don't get something as pure a feeling in gaming as that. And I think because it is literally so kind of limited in that it's not like this character does a billion different things. Every character in a fighting game has the exact same job, to fuck up the other person. It's just like that particular way of doing it.
They work differently as well, and it's like there's one of the points you've made about like esports before. That's why fighting games lend themselves so well to it, because there's that potential for awesome moments, but instead of them just being like a team, it's usually one person, which kind of makes it more impressive.
Yeah.
Like the first like gaming thing everybody got hype for was Daigo versus Justin Wong.
Oh yeah,
I don't give a
definitely.
shit whether you played fighting games or not. You saw that and you went, fuck.
But that sparked a huge interest in the fighting. Like, fighting games got rejuvenated because of moments like that. It became an esport. Evo got somewhere, went to the upper echelon because of that moment. Despite, like, you can say what you want about Daigo, you can say what you want about Justin Wong. I mean, they're both great players, but is Daigo really as good as that moment? I don't know. He hasn't won anything in a very long time, but he's still fucking good.
He's still one of those people who's like definitive to it.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
he's the face of Street Fighter 3.
but you've paved so much space for like other people, and it's like you don't know
over the weekend.
You don't know the names though.
Over the weekend, it was Sonic Fox and was it Goei or
Goichi? There was like a 1st to 10 exhibition on Dragon Ball Fighters, which was stunning.
And both players are respectively the best players in their regions.
Yeah.
Sonic Fox is just fucking unbelievable American player.
He takes his hat off, you're dead normally.
Yeah, that's like fucking Punko taking his shirt off kind of moment.
This is what I was going to say. You've got all these moments in fighting games. Like there's when that guy took his shirt off to hide for Punko, so Punko and then hung his shirt on him as well. It was like I was sat watching that live and I stood up.
Yeah,
it was like some people jump out the chairs at football matches. I jumped up going, "Oh, the disrespect! Get him!" And then the guy got fucked up, and I was just like,
"Was it a perfect?"
Yes.
I can't remember if it was a perfect. I want to say it was a perfect.
Yeah, it was. He seffed him. He went at him. It was brutal.
Yeah,
and then it was like you've got stuff like that. You've got the Daigo and Justin Wong. You've got like after the 10-round exhibition, they both got to the final of the competition. And the guy pulls a comeback. He doesn't win overall, but everyone in the background is like arms up, sending their energy to the guy like the end of Dragon Ball, and it was amazing. And you've got there's even one that was it a fighting game where that dude turned up dressed as fucking Bayonetta? Do you know the thing I'm on about?
I think that was for was that game done quick?
No, it was the Smash Brothers final.
Oh yeah, he just turns up at fucking dressed as Bayonetta. It's like, but there's loads of stuff like that. I mean, I still think like some of the best moments in esports have been the Street Fighter 4 finals at Evo. There's always fucking something. Fucking Gamer B versus Infiltration that year was, I think it was 2 years ago now. That is one of the best matches of anything I've seen.
My favourite thing about this as well is we're saying like random words for people.
Oh yeah, so
and it's like football players going, "Oh my god, this guy," and we're like going, "Yeah, these guys have got fucking numbers in their names." What?
This is the thing, right? We're not even deep in the fighting game community. I mean, like, I really enjoy them, but I'm not someone who can sit there and talk forever and ever.
We kind of bottled getting into the fighting game community to a point as well, because there was that thing this was the thing in Preston.
I turned up to a couple of those ones.
We used to get this really, really friendly Irish guy used to come into game, and he would always be on about fighting games, and he'd be telling you about these community nights and all this other stuff.
I turned up to one or two of them with a stick.
You got
absolutely paggered, absolutely, and it was like it was fun. Like it wasn't like how you sometimes hear about the fighting game community being, where they can be a bit kind of standoffish and generally be disrespectful to one another. But it wasn't like that here, because it was literally like 8 guys in a room just playing Street Fighter.
Cafe.
Yeah. I didn't order anything. I just came, got beaten, went home. But like everyone was friendly enough.
Yeah, it's like, but that's that thing. It's like that's the other thing as well. You've got that kind of local fighting game community kind of thing, because like they used to do something in one of the pubs in Preston. You used to be able to go on a weeknight, and they'd have the big screen upstairs. It was in like Roper or the Adelphi, which are pubs in Preston. You used to be able to go to and play like Smash Brothers or Tekken on a screen, and it was just like it created this kind of sense of like a little community, little pocket community. And sometimes they'd all like go off down to a big tournament together, so you don't like go and you go practice and be like, right, and then you just go and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and the great thing about like the nature of fighting games, because being like so competitive, there's always going to be something happening. You just got to keep your eye out for it. And it's like, I don't think I've got the drive to be
a good fighting game player. I think I can stick with a game for a long time and learn a character, but when it gets to the point of me trying to read the other person, I just don't think I've.
Do you know what I want to be
that,
when it comes to fighting games? I want to be a fighting game football dad. You know, the ones who tell you how good they used to be and how they could have gone pro, and now they have I had trials for somewhere and stuff like that, but it's just. I was just really good at demon pawing people. That's all it is. It's like
you've got your own dressing gown with Chris, the demon paw Worthington.
It's but it's that thing where it's like you can sit there and go remember when it's like you talk about stuff. You go, oh, I remember this one particular round, or I remember this one particular game, and it was it's stuff like that with fighting games. It's like people, you get that kind of weird standoffish thing between people who play games and people who like football or people who like sport. And the people who like sport go, oh, do you remember this one really specific thing that happened? And fighting games kind of give you that same thing, which is otherwise you don't really have that. I mean,
the thing is, I don't watch things like the Overwatch League or fucking I don't follow StarCraft or LoL or anything like that. So it's you probably do get that, but I think the one that kind of the most kind of purest form of it is, to me, is always the fighting game.
Yeah.
It's always man versus man, or
it's person versus person.
Person versus person. And
here you go.
You're an ally, Chris.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, but it's always one person versus another person, and the person who wins is the better player. Because
if you're the spawniest bastard, I've repeatedly proved on Dragon Ball.
No, you know that game. You're better at doing the inputs than I am. That's the ins and out of it there. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with being spawny. If I was a better player, I'd know how to counter you. If I was a better player, I wouldn't have these goddamn ham fingers and be able to fucking actually input something properly. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, that's the other thing as well. It's the good thing is as well, if you've got a couple of friends and stuff who are all even if you're not into fighting games and you're just kind of thinking about it, find a couple of friends who are doing it as well, and all get the same freaking game and feel it out as a group. And
I'm not talking about online. I mean, if you have to do it online, then fair enough. But it's much better to just get around a TV, you and the other guys get around a TV and learn it that way, because it's so much more fun. You feel like you're actually talking to people.
You've got people who like watching tutorials and going, oh, try this, oh, look at this. It's there's combos on Dragon Ball that I didn't even think about until I watched that. It's there's ways of doing inputs that just keep someone almost not stunned, but there's ways of doing it, and it's I never contemplated it before, and it's that first to 10 thing made me think about the game slightly differently, and I tried things based off what I saw in it, and I felt like I was playing better.
Well, I mean, there's also that. I mean, this is the difference. Those anime fighting games, the Arc System Works do, they generally are about finding your opening and kind of exploiting it and extending that combo as long as it can possibly go on for. And that's where I think there's a big kind of, not a big disparity, but I think that's kind of a bit of an issue with those games. They can feel a bit unfair if you're not.
Yeah.
If you're not
we've both said that it feels like there's not enough options to get out of or away from something, and I understand
that's that
works,
type of game.
And it works for how Dragon Ball is, because there's fights in that where it looks like one of the characters is stock still and the crap kicked out of them until they get slammed into the ground.
Yeah.
And that's the point where they're allowed to recover. But the game can be that oppressive because of the mechanics. You get bounced into the ground and just get in it again.
Yeah, but I mean, that's that game.
That's
it
the
doesn't
nature
happen
of that game.
as much in Street Fighter, and I think Street Fighter, with kind of the simplicity of those mechanics, it's a bit easier to kind of get out of a situation like that. But at the same time, you go against someone who knows what they're doing, you're going to get perfected. Yeah,
and it's it's that thing where it's there's other fighting games that all play completely differently. Virtua Fighter. That got to a point with Virtua Fighter where it felt more like a Mexican standoff. It was whoever landed the first hit was going to kick the fuck out of the other person.
Well, there was one game at the beginning of the PS2. want to say it's called Kengo, Way of the Bushido, or something like that. It was basically a follow-up to Bushido Blade.
The one where you could one-hit someone if you got it right at the start of the fight. Yeah.
I remember that being, I think it was like the third or fourth PS2 game I had, and I just couldn't do it. But it's like, I imagine, I mean, it probably hasn't really got that much of a following because no one talks about it anymore. But that's one of those games where it's like there is a system there that sets it apart from most other ones. I mean,
weird little fighting games were great. Like, what's that one called that had like cloud and stuff in it?
Oh, Energies or whatever.
Ergis or something like that. Yeah, because there was that
God
one.
Bless the Ring. It was called. Yeah, it was fucking shite.
And there was that one. There was the one
Star Wars one,
Master Terra
worst fighting game ever made.
Was it Clay Fighters? There was JoJo's got fighting games.
JoJo fighting games.
Shitloads of Dragon Ball ones that aren't.
Well, there's Budokai. Budokai 3 is to a lot of people the definitive Dragon, like probably up to the point when Dragon Ball FighterZ came out, the definitive Dragon Ball fighting game.
You've got the Mortal Kombat ones. There's one of the Turtles ones that's got like a fighting element to it.
Tell you what I used to love when we were in Japan and we were going around the arcades, finding the little weird ones. Melty Blood.
Jesus
Melty
Christ.
Blood is. I love it. I can't understand what is happening half the time in that game.
But you died.
I died a lot. You can get it on Steam.
It was when we played
you can get
the Sengoku Basara games, when I found them. And I was like, yes, let's fucking do this.
King of Fighters, those Neo Geo ones, they're so fucking impenetrable.
There was King of Fighters, Samurai Showdown, there's fucking Guilty Gear.
Oh, Guilty Gear is kind of like the beginning of the Arc System Works fighter, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got Guilty Gear, you've got, what else was that used to
Battle
exist?
Fantasia.
Things like Fighting Vipers.
Never played that one.
Power Stone.
Well, that's a different kind of fighting game. That's your arena fighting game.
It's still glorious.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
And you've got, things like Smash Brothers and stuff as well, which Smash Brothers is the absolute best version of get everyone in front of it.
Yeah, definitely.
We used to do that almost weekly, was just like a cube, brawl or melee?
Melee. Cube.
Cube, melee, 4 of us, pizzas. So much fun. It was just constant and just...
Never won one game of it. I was so fucking bad at that game.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then when it came out on the Wii, we did the exact same thing. And it was still great.
It for the Wii.
No, but you played it.
Yeah,
because we fucked uni off for the day. And we spent it sat at Riggs.
I'll be getting the Switch one.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
But it's like... Because this is the thing as well. The Switch is going to have fucking local co-op on it.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to just all sit in your living room, either on someone's TV or all on your own Switch, playing on it.
Yeah,
it's going to be just wonderful.
Yeah,
it's probably the best way to describe it.
It's going to be great. I think it's going to fit. It's going to be back to the days of Melee, where like you're 15 years old, all of you have like your own GameCube pad with you, and it's like everyone's got their own character.
Some posh bitch has got a wave bird, and you're just like,
you're like, all right, you sit at the back of the room then.
You get off in the corner.
Yeah. No, but it's like everyone's got their like favourite character with their favourite colour combination, stuff like that.
And it was like, you were figuring, because this is the thing, it was like, Melee was like probably my introduction to the Cube, because that was kind of like, I remember like just talking to people and being like, yeah, I've not got a Cube. And they've gone, have you never played Smash Bros? I was like, no. And then we went to like, we were around to like Rick or Ollie's and played it, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I didn't even know they'd done it. I only found out about it on the Cube.
I don't know what this is,
wasn't there as well,
but it is awesome. And I was like, right, I'm going to play as Mario. No, I'm not. I'm going to play as Kirby. And
I always played a Link just because it was like...
Yeah, and it was just like, you started figuring stuff out and that, going, yeah, this is great. And I loved it. And it's like, that's the thing that makes fighting games so good, is there's like, even if you're getting battered on them normally, if you play it with a bunch of mates, it's still fun.
Oh, it's still really fun.
It's like, it's not that point where you sat there going, oh my god, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
Right. We've got some questions about fighting games. The first one, favourite characters in a fighting game. Pick your team for a 3-on-3 fighter. Can be from any fighting game, minus Salty Bet. Ronald McDonald is way too powerful.
He is.
Can be mechanical choices, but could just be your favourite characters.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, right. First one. So this question is like any fighting game there has been.
Yeah.
Any fighting game there has been. Right, okay. First off, has to be Cammy from Street Fighter, because she's first main, that special place.
Why did you pick Cammy as a child?
Well, no, this is Street Fighter 4. I didn't have. Why did
you pick Cammy as a horny teenager?
Obvious reasons. Because she has amazing legs. No, no. Well, originally I kind of thought with Cammy, because before that I'd only really played like shorter characters, so it was like Ken or Ryu or something. I really wanted to try someone who was out there a bit, and didn't really see many people playing as Cammy online.
Yeah.
That was generally because she died really easily, but I learned her, and I used to do alright. Like, I wasn't fucking pro material, but I used to do okay on Street Fighter 4 Classic with her.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So it's Street Fighter 4 Cammy.
Street Fighter 4 Cammy. If we're going again, I'm gonna say Team Gohan.
Oh, we're going more modern.
Yeah,
I thought you'd be all the characters.
No, I love, like, it just shows how much I love Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's so fucking good, and they get Team Gohan like just right. Like even his Ultra, where like you can even like add an extra bit of meter to it, and have Goku like come in with you. And it's like, oh, it's so fucking good. Loved it. And then the last one, Darth Vader from Master Terrace Cassie.
Oh, Soul Calibur.
No, Master Terrace Cassie. Specifically the skin where he's maybe blue. Like he's like a purple.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm joking. It's not Darth Vader. No,
it's the Gamorrean, isn't it?
What?
It's the little fat Gamorrean guy.
Fuck, as he was called. No, I don't really know, because like you've got all those like crossover ones, haven't you? Where it's like, actually no, Rachel Alucard from BlazBlue, but probably my only BlazBlue main, if you can even call it that.
Yeah.
Because she has that really weird kind of fighting style where you set up traps.
Oh, and she's got like the umbrella and the butler and stuff, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, and such a beautifully animated character as well. Like the way, kind of like when you're floating down, like how like the dress moves and stuff like that. It's just really fucking lovely piece of artwork.
I remember when that game came out and we were just sat like, what the fuck is this?
I've still got it.
I've still got the soundtrack on a CD somewhere.
I've got it, yeah, so I drive to it at night. In fact, when I'm driving home from here, I probably will be driving to it, going maybe a bit too fast.
Put Rebellion on.
Put Staff Roll B, or Staff Road to Hope, I think it is.
Oh, Road to Hope's amazing.
Road to Hope's amazing. It's
starts off all plinky plonky and happy, and then just goes, and Edgewood.
Yeah.
it's amazing. Right. My 3. Street Fighter 4 character. Yeah. Sagat.
Fucking hell. Sagat.
Yeah, because I remember...
The longest reach. I
remember when we were playing Street Fighter 4 in Japan, and we were getting twatted because we were being purists and trying to be Ryu and Ken, and it wasn't working.
I used Cammy.
It wasn't working, and then we were fighting that El Fuerte knob, and I was like, you know what? I'm a whip Sagat out on him. And I fucked him up. And it was like, yes, because I knew what I was doing. Because he's basically Ryu with claws in. It was like...
Exactly.
I was like, right, I like it. I was in. It was sorted. It was like, so I'm going to say Sagat. I'm going to say Captain America from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Good choice.
Because he was legit.
Oh, yeah.
And I am going to say as my 3rd one. Jin from Tekken 3. Oh, Tekken 3 or Tekken 4. Because he fights completely different.
Oh, shit, I've got a changed one. Forgot Brian Fury. the robot that is all about punching.
Christ, you can't actually... Thinking about it, you can't actually just pick 3, because the second you think of 3, you go, oh, fuck. What about them?
Yeah,
It's like
Yoshimitsu.
in either of the Dissidia games is Vivi playable.
No.
Right, well, that saves us on that one then.
And plus Dissidia is shite.
Yeah, but he's best boy.
He is best boy. He needs to be.
You can play as Dio in one of the JoJo games as well.
Yeah, you can. In the JoJo one. fucking JoJo.
True.
It's a much bigger question.
This is a big. You didn't anticipate. Right, we're gonna have to narrow this down. It's like, who are you? Right, mine are probably gonna be, when it comes to like the main fighting franchises, who I go for first.
Yeah.
So Jin's definitely in there. Probably not Sagat. It's probably more Ken, just in general, because I started playing Ken after I saw that Daigo thing and went, yeah, fuck Ryu.
I think Ken's the fun choice. Ryu is the pure choice. Ken is the fun choice. Usually. Although
Ryu's like frigging insane ultimate in 4 and 5, where it's the massive Hadouken. It's just nice.
Yeah,
but I like Ryu more in Marvel vs. Capcom. He's so much faster.
Because the Marvel vs. Capcom one plays a lot like the Alpha games. I always either pick Ryu or Sakura in that, because I mean they're both shorter characters, but Ryu, I don't know what it is, he just seems to be that little bit more fun in those. I think it might just be the setup of those games.
To be honest, my standard team on that tends to be something like Cyclops, Ryu, and it used to be Cyclops, Ryu, and Cable. Cable was amazing on that game.
And you always had, and Cyclops, Ryu, and Cable, so your ultimate was it just filled the fucking screen.
It was just, if you hit someone in that beam, it was like a 300 hit combo.
How could you not hit someone with that beam?
I've had it happen. No, it's probably going to, actually, yeah, so I think it might not even be Ryu, it might be Cable. So it's Cable from Marvel vs. Capcom. Jin from just Tekken in general.
Just general, yeah.
And I think the other character...
Brian Fury.
Are you having Brian Fury?
I'm putting Brian Fury. I'm taking Team Gohan out and putting Brian Fury in mine.
Alright. Yeah, because I don't think my favourite fighting character is in the Dragon Ball game. I love that game, but I've not spent enough time with it as a franchise, because I was saying before, you kind of form an attachment to certain characters. There's ones where you go, yep, I know exactly what I'm doing-ish with that person. It's like, because there's so much stuff about fighting game characters that becomes iconic. Like, you know exactly what you are going to be able to do with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. You know exactly what you're going to be able to do with Ryu, Ken. You know exactly what you'll be able to do with, like, even like Blanca and E-Honda and stuff. And Chun-Li, you've got Guile, you've got so much iconic stuff. So yeah, Cable, Jin. Who's the other one? Fuck it, Yoshimitsu. No, Yoshimitsu. Just because Yoshimitsu as a character I've got such a soft spot for, because he's fucking daft. I used to love the fact that you could spin so fast he fell over. I was like, what is the benefit of that? And I was like, I don't get the benefit of it until I fell over and a gone fireball went over the top of me. And I was like, amazing. It was like, that was the point where I was like, I get it. And then I got up and I fucking stabbed him in the head.
Yeah.
It's just, I just love fighting games.
I love fighting games.
Even if I'm crap at a lot of them, I still love them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Next question. What would you love to see a fighting game based on? Can I go first?
Yes.
Saturday morning cartoons.
It would work.
There's a fucking big crossover. Imagine it playing out like that Dragon Ball game, 3-on-3 fighter, but you've got like G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, fucking Thundercats, Transformers. You've got all of
Tom
them.
And Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. You could have anything. It's
as one character. Tom and Jerry is like one character.
But you could do like different ones. You could either do one that's based on like your American ones, Or you could do one that's based on like Japanese like superhero time and anime stuff.
But they
so instead of
Jump Ultimate Stars and stuff like that.
Imagine one that was just all the robots from Super Robot Animes just in one-on-one fights.
That'd be pretty cool.
But it's a 2D thing, and it's just everything's just getting smashed around you. It's like
that would be really cool.
But I think I'd love Saturday morning cartoons, or, and this is my wild card pick, sitcoms.
Fucking Jerry Seinfeld.
Exactly. Imagine the super move on George Costanza.
Yes.
I would love to see what would happen in a 3-on-3 fighter when it's fucking Seinfeld, Kramer, and George Costanza versus the pensioners from the Golden Girls. I just think that would be. I want that mocked up as just a piece of game art.
So good.
It would be incredible, and it's like it would be amazing.
Oh, that would actually be that is actually brilliant. That's a really good pick. That's an amazing pick. Head is saying Full Metal Alchemist pretty much because that's all I've been watching recently. I mean, it would be really good. Got all the characters with all the different kind of abilities. Could do lots with it. Blah 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 blah. But I want a really fun pick.
2 hours later.
I don't know. You've killed it.
I've killed it with them two really good picks.
You took the best one.
What about just like a 2D sort of team-based fighter done by Arc, but it wasn't just Dragon Ball, it was like all of the shonen manga?
Well, like a Jump Ultimate
Like Jump Ultimate Stars.
That'd be really cool, but not Smash Brothers anymore.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, I mean,
more like a pure fighter.
Well, they're kind of doing that with the next Arc System Works one, aren't they? Because it's not just BlazBlue, it's
BlazBlue in the Persona game.
And that RWBY, is it?
Ruby. Is that in it as well?
Yeah. There's going to be a few other things in there.
Harry Potter fighting game. Imagine how shit that'd be.
Beat the shit out of Harry Potter. Yeah, I'd like that actually. What I'd do is I think I'd be fucking Lupin, transform into a werewolf. Bloody Raw, that was
another game that they need to do another Bloody Raw. That's me. See, we've willed Western releases of Yakuza games into being. We have willed a medieval remake into being.
I mean, I think that was like some kind of chaos magic bullshit. It's like
I have willed that into happening.
Yeah, we have talked about it so much. Reality is bent to it.
Reality bends to my will on a weird basis. We're after another Bloody Raw. That's what we want next.
Rival Schools. Schools would be good.
A Rival Schools Bloody Raw crossover. You've turned into a dog. Well done, I've got a baseball bat.
Yeah.
It's not...
Michael Vick superstar.
What about one that's just...
Do you remember
fucking... Oh, God.
Do you remember the Wu-Tang fighting game?
Oh, the Shaolin one, or Def Jam.
Not the Def Jam one.
The Def Jam ones, and there was that Wu-Tang one. It was
PlayStation. It was PlayStation 1 one. You could beat someone up as DMX, because DMX was a playable character in it.
Yeah. Just every time you hit, just...
shouts randomly. And even though DMX wasn't part of...
Yeah. They've got their album back now, haven't they?
Oh, from...
Because Martin Shkreli's gone to prison.
Rat face prick.
Yeah. And to be fair...
Have you read some of the stuff that why certain jurors were not allowed to think?
He's such a cop.
Yeah, it's just I just don't like his face. It's like
my favourite thing is in the contract for owning that album was that the Wu-Tang could attempt to reclaim ownership if carried out during a caper involving them and Bill Murray. I swear to God, I would leave my front door deliberately unlocked if it thought it meant that the Wu-Tang Clan and Bill Murray were going to come and try and steal a fucking album off me.
Yeah. That's it. Fucking Bill Murray based fighting. Anyone that Bill Murray, any title, and any other supporting character that has been in a Bill Murray one. So you've got all the Ghostbusters, you've got Hunter S. Thompson, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray Brawler.
Yeah.
I love the idea of a Bill Murray Brawler.
1,000 Faces of Bill Murray, it could be called.
You've got Final Boss's Groundhog Day Bill Murray because he fucking killed back.
Yeah.
The only way to beat him in the end is you've got to build up enough meter to trigger the groundhog coming up, and then you got to kill the groundhog.
You got to either kill the groundhog. I imagine it'd be like a King of Fighters boss. It's all very kind of like
bullshit RNG based.
Yeah, it's all very like normal, and then you get to the final boss and he fucking transforms into something.
It's like Bill Murray dressed as a groundhog.
Comes out as Baloo the bear.
Right.
The Disney one would actually be pretty good.
The Disney one actually really
that'd be
smart.
really fun.
I'd like to see them do. I'd like to see them based kind of like how they've done Injustice. I'd actually love a really nice sort of like one-on-one sort of Marvel one.
But
I'd love them to do.
It hasn't.
I'd love them to do a superhero sort of brawling game that's got that sense of scope to it. But I think, or like a Transformers one would be amazing.
Transformers one.
Imagine if they used the art style from Devastation as well.
Yeah.
And you've got like dash moves and stuff where you're transforming and things.
It would be really good.
It'd be mad. There
probably is like a weird SNES one out there.
A decent non-arena Kamen Rider one would be fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah. Anyway, next question. Worst mechanics in fighting games?
Ooh, there are some pretty fucking bad ones.
I hate anything that's equipment and selectable buffs and stuff like that.
Oh,
so like the gem system in that Tekken, Capcom X, that Street Fighter X Tekken game.
All right, yeah.
I fucking hated the gem system in that, and I hate anything that's like, oh, if you've got these bits of equipment equipped, you've got X extra stats and stuff. I was like,
yeah, they did that a lot in like the Dragon Ball Tenkaichi.
I think Injustice 2 does it as well, where you've got like the gear and the customization, certain sets and certain items.
I think that's just added bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like it sounds really tossy, but it kind of detracts from the whole point.
You can kind of grind out and make yourself more of a
threat. Yeah, and I hate that. I'd rather if someone's going to be able to kick the shit out of me, they do it legitimately.
Kirby from Smash Bros.
Just in general,
fucking hate it.
He's eating people mechanics, annoying as fuck.
The fact that he just keeps coming back
because he can float.
When I used to play with
us,
before when we first got the cube, me and like school friends would play it. One person in particular would just be Kirby because he could not be knocked off, basically. Yeah, you have to put this like you have to make it like 255% or something and smash him off. And that's the only way of killing him because he was such a fucking mechanics geek. He knew like the ins and outs of everything, and call it that we didn't know how to deal with him properly. That's probably it. But it was such a fucking pain in the ass. I remember we would get to a point on like a 4v4. It's like, right, he's playing Kirby, everyone on him. And like we'd have to kick him out early because it's like he was just such a pain. That just
pulls the fun out of it, doesn't it?
It really did. And that was the only thing really. I think that's my major.
Oh, there's another one I fucking hate. Characters that serve no other purpose than to, like Mokujin, just serve no other purpose than to just pull in a random moveset.
Yeah.
Just pick random, you prick.
Yeah, it's a real lazy choice.
Waste of a character slot.
Characters that healing in a beat 'em up, I always think is fucking.
I don't mind like health that can slightly recharge.
No, like stuff like when you switch out in Dragon Ball and your health recharge. I don't mean that. I mean like
because it only recharges to a certain point as well.
In Street Fighter 4, the arcade edition, I'm sure it was the arcade edition of Street Fighter 4, the last version they released, there was a character who could heal, and that was that was like their ultimate move, is that they healed a certain amount. And
fuck that.
I can't remember the name. Maybe I'm making it up, maybe it's not, but I'm pretty sure it being, I can't remember her name. Big, tall African woman.
Oh, she was one of the new characters, wasn't she?
She's either a new character or she was from, like, I don't know. But, yeah, like, that as a mechanic, every time I've been up against something like that, it's just a pain in the ass because you're constantly playing catch-up and they can eke out the fight. If you're seeing the fight as kind of like move, punishment, kind of thing. It just gives them so much more fucking breathing room than you, and it's like it just makes little. So again, it's another lazy mechanic. It's like they can't think of anything else to do with them.
There's like really shit mechanics that don't quite fit in the game as well. Like there was, if you held down all 4 of the face buttons on the older Tekkens, you did that thing where you kind of charged up a little bit.
Yeah,
and it was like it was when you get to like fucking slow. And they replaced it with the later Tekkens with like the rage art thing where you could trigger it and then do.
Or in like 6 where you got to like a certain bit of health and then like
it kicked in,
you got more powerful.
Yeah.
Like that last bit. I thought that was quite good, but I know some people really dislike that. But I like the way Dragon Ball does it where you have to activate it, but it just has to be activated like quick.
We've talked about the worst things.
Yeah.
Now we're on possibly the best thing about a fighting game. Most mad as rat shit lore. Tekken's is up there, isn't it?
Tekken's is bizarre.
Tekken's is mad. Tekken's is mad as fuck. There was a woman uppercutting people with tigers in the last game.
The general virility.
That's Heihachi's wife.
I was going to say the general virility of Heihachi Mishima is it's mind-boggling how many kids that guy's got.
It's not just that. It's like there's certain things in Tekken, even in the wider stuff around it. Like, have you ever seen the live-action Tekken movie?
Yes.
Right. Explain me this in the live-action Tekken movie. They went, Kazuya Mishima is the baddie. The reason you know he's the bad guy is because he's currently in a freeway with 2 characters from Tekken. That was his character introduction, because he was in a freeway with Nina and her sister. And you were like,
he's the weird because they hate each other.
Yeah, it's like, right, he's the bad guy. Why is he the bad guy? At this
he's
point,
just leading the tournament.
At this point, he's just a billionaire prick in a penthouse. He's not
enjoying
evil.
himself.
He's just doing his billionaire thing.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He's just following the script at this point. He's not done anything particularly wrong. Also, why the fuck wasn't King in that film?
Well, it was a really.
Steve Fox was played by the guy who's the vampire in Blade 2.
Who's Darth Maul?
No, it's Steve Fox is played by Luke Goss. Oh, Ray Park's in some. Ray Park's someone else.
I'm sure it's Ray. Ray Park's someone in that film.
He might be. He's not Brian Fury. Brian Fury's not in it. Because Steve Fox is Luke Goss. Because I remember sitting there going, "That's Luke Goss."
But have you seen the Tekken animated film as well?
No.
It's very weird because it's very similar to the Street Fighter one, other than. The tournament bit just goes out the window at one point and like dinosaurs are just eating people because remember Alex from Tekken 2 the raptor with boxing gloves, apparently like in that film they essentially went to the tournament and it was a big testing ground to fight dinosaurs.
Wait a minute. Those motherfuckers, that's where they've stolen the idea for the new Jurassic Park from. It's literally Alex from Tekken versus Chris Pratt.
But yeah, it was...
That's another one for worst characters, isn't it? Just animals in general.
I don't know. Kuma is pretty fucking cool.
True.
Especially when he turns into a panda and he's all, like, charmed up. He looks like he's come from fucking Harajuku. It's great. I think generally the Tekken like designs on some of those characters, especially when you get to like Tekken 4 onwards,
and you've got like the jacks and stuff like this. Yeah, and it's just like like Guilty Gear's lore is mental.
I don't even know.
As is BlazBlue's. I read the wiki on that the other day. I got confused on the arc for one character.
I mean, it's like one of the things is like Street Fighter's lore is like Street Fighter 3 was like a turning point in the series because it's like just. You had weirder and weirder characters turning up then. It's like, alright, Dalsim could stretch, but that was kind of like...
And Blanca was kind of a thing. But this was all tempered against the absolute reality of Geef. And it was
of a mad Russian who fights bears for practice and just suplexes his way. He's a professional wrestler. By rights, his martial arts isn't a martial arts. It's fake. But he just suplexes things until they're dead.
Yeah. Geef, he's awesome.
Yeah, Geef.
This is the big, like,
the Red Cyclone.
You think about, that'd be another good game. It's just called Let's Fucking Settle It. It's every big burly wrestling character from fighting games having a scrap.
Remember the one from Dead or Alive? What was his name? Bass.
Yeah,
Bass.
There's Bass. There's Mike Hagar from like Final Fight.
The fucking mayor.
The mayor. You've got King. Armor King, Gunjack, Jack, Goro. You've just got all these big beefing characters that are just all like
the Centaur.
Hi, I make no fucking sense being in this game.
The Centaur from Mortal Kombat.
Have them all fight a Rancor, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It works.
The Centaur from Mortal Kombat Trilogy. What was his name?
Oh, I know the one you mean.
I used to just be him because I'd like the idea of being half horse.
I wanted to say Baraka, but that's not.
No,
Baraka's the one with the teeth with the arms.
Yeah.
So
I like
he's the edgelord one.
Yeah.
He's literally. They should have done an alternate costume for him on XL, which is that that meme of that kid with the two katanas strapped to his arms going, "Forgive me, Sensei, I need to lose control one more time." I would have played. Memes would be another amazing fucking fighting game.
Well, that's
just an ultra move.
That's Salty Bet. That is Salty Bet.
Just that Jimmy was here guy who does like, it's Wednesday, my dudes. Just as his super is just the scream and it just blows the screen up.
Honestly, Ronald McDonald with an afro. Have you ever watched Salty Bet?
No.
My birthday a couple of years ago, right? I had James round, Fred round, and Jack round, and they were. We just pretty much were just drinking with Salty Bet on TV because you don't play it, you watch it, and you bet money on who's going to win. And it's essentially Mugen, but like the most ratchet. Like, it's the only game where you can have Ronald McDonald and Nafro fight Shamu.
I need eyes on this immediately.
Right, we will watch some after this. It is fucking mental.
Oh, I've just thought of another franchise that'd be amazing for a fighting game.
What?
Yakuza.
It pretty much already is.
Yeah, no, but imagine if you could just have it like as a 1v1 fighter and periodically...
A Sega-themed one would be really fucking good.
Oh, that'd be great.
A Sega-themed one.
Imagine being able to just set about Knuckles as Goro Majima.
Just imagine standing over Tails again as Goro, or Kiryu just punching it.
Coming at you with your bike.
Yeah. Die, you... Fucking, what are you? You should not be.
Right. More questions. Best arena fighting game, and why is it Power Stone?
I already told Rick it's Jedi Power Battles.
Jedi Power Battles is like a 2D brawl fighting game, and it's one where you side scroll.
I thought it was. An arena fighter.
One that's got. It might be. I don't know, but he's right.
I think you are right.
It is Power Stone, isn't it?
Yeah. The only other one I can really think of is
Budokai.
Well, there's Budokai and there's the JoJo one that came out on PS4, Eyes of Heaven, that wasn't very good.
Oh, it's Power Stone then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much Power Stone.
Right?
Well, it's Power Stone because it's actually really good. There you go.
Yeah, right. Let's move on to the next question. Why are we terrible at fighting games? And is the BlazBlue guy right?
Right. That article.
Where he was saying that he was like, Japanese people were better at fighting games, wasn't he, effectively?
The entire thing in the article was the reason why BlazBlue and a lot of the other Arc System works don't do well in the West. Now, his thing is saying that they're not accessible, that we're not that we're not good at them, but I think that's why
we're not set up in terms of like the level of arcades and stuff for people to go and practice.
Well, that's it. But the article made a really good point. That the reason that you don't see a lot of Western players as good as, say, like Japanese players in the top brackets and that kind of thing is because we don't have them as long. They come out in Japan like a good year, maybe 2 years before they come out over here.
But I think it's mad.
Well, I think another thing is what you touched on before. It's not. There's no entry point to it. There's no point. Say, like when you look at BlazBlue, before you start playing that game. Who do you know who you want to... what character do you want to play? How do you differentiate between the characters?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing of that. Whereas in Dragon Ball, the reason why Dragon Ball's done so well, even though it's an Arc Systems fighter, is because
people know what the characters are about.
Yeah.
Like, you go... Like, when we first played it, my first protocol was, I'm being Krillin, I'm going to throw a Destructo Disc at you.
Yeah. I was like, I have to be Vegeta and Trunks and... someone else. But
it didn't matter who they were.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It really. When we first played it, it really didn't matter who they were.
Yeah, if I was Vegeta, I was happy. But that's the thing. I think that's part. Well, yeah, I really couldn't get my head around it. But that. And also, there's a netcode problem as well, whereas it works really well in Japan, but over here we get kind of shafted with it. But I think that's a really big part of it, that the reason they don't do as well is because people see generic anime game on the shelf and go, looks like some weeb shit.
You're either going to you look at it, and the problem is, when you look at a lot of like your anime fighters and stuff, and they kind of fall into that kind of who's your waifu category.
Oh, like Arcana Hearts and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you look at it and go, where does the fighting game end and the tit game begin?
Well, Arcana Hearts is.
There's a fighting game we didn't fucking talk about, Senran Kagura, because neither of us have played it.
No, I don't want to go to jail
because we're adults. It's like, we know who you are.
No, but that's part of it. I don't think he's right in the sense that when he was saying the control schemes, because he was saying in the article that Dragon Ball's doing well because the control scheme is scaled back as to what it was in BlazBlue.
Well, it's the same as what the Persona game was like.
But even that didn't do as well as Dragon Ball.
No.
But that did better because people played Persona over here. And I think that's the thing. Like, over there, they tend to like... I don't know what it is, but there's a bit more of a lead-in with like the Arc system works to do well over here.
Yeah,
either already an established franchise or...
You know what? It probably didn't help that a lot. Wasn't it Deep Silver that used to publish a lot of the Arc stuff over here? It was basically a lot of the Arc stuff used to get published by a studio that you just assumed everything that came out of there was absolute dog shit, and it was like...
Yeah, there's that. It doesn't get pushed the same as
that's what I mean. It doesn't get stocked to the same level. It doesn't get pushed. Like, remember when BlazBlue came out?
There's like 2 copies.
We got BlazBlue. We got import copies of it from when Preston had a special shop.
Yeah.
And then when Game got it in, they only got 2 copies.
And not to mention, it was about a year and a bit later as well.
And it was 60 fucking quid.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you know when the next Street Fighter comes out. You know when the next Tekken comes out. You don't necessarily know. And there's no way to really differentiate between, to the layperson, what's the difference between BlazBlue Continuum Shift and BlazBlue
Chrono Phantasma Extend?
Yeah, it's like, which one's the newer one? It's a lot easier to push a game like Street Fighter 5, that's the newest one, because it was in the Street Fighter 6. And Street Fighter's already an established thing.
Number your fucking games.
I
suppose even by that logic, it's like Mortal Kombat. Does it have Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat 10? He's just called Mortal Kombat.
It's 9.
Yeah, but it was on a completely new system.
Yeah,
so
and it was essentially a reboot. But in the same way that Street Fighter 4 was essentially a reboot as well. But, I think I think it's a very short-sighted thing for him to say.
Yeah, but I think it's like you said, I think it needs the infrastructure to improve. We're starting to get things, and especially in America as well, they're starting to get more like barcades and stuff. Like there's one in Bury, so it's not that far from here.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a trek for us to go.
It's a bit of a trek, but it's got tons of stuff. Yeah. And it's like stuff like that, and like pubs. And I think pubs, especially have got the space, are going to start seeing and getting more like arcade games and stuff.
I would love there to be a bar in Preston where you've got the bar downstairs and they have like fighting game tournaments. There's stuff in Manchester that does it, but it's like going to Manchester and getting into that community.
I'd love it mechanically to work as there is a bar downstairs and you can get food downstairs. You can go upstairs and you can pay in.
Sure you could.
You pay in and that's you then. And there's a bar in there.
Or you have like the tournament bit where a tournament's being run and then like a few free couches where you can go and play.
Yeah, like some like breakout stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's why that Belong place is it's attached to game and you're like, ugh. But at the same time it's like fucking hell we needed it. You know what I mean? It was
a lot of fun. And
especially if Smash Brothers takes off like I think it's going to.
Well, I would love...
I'm going to get a violin case to put my Switch in because I'm going to be assassinating people.
Well, if they do have like a Dragon Ball night on their fight nights and stuff, I'm even interested in playing Tekken 7 and getting better at that and going to some of their fight nights and whatever. But it's, you know what I mean? It's getting the fighting games are built around the community of people who play it. Much more so than, say, something like fucking, I don't know, stuff like Overwatch, because the netcode is so good and because like it's pretty much an entirely online game and it's been built for like people all over the place to play with each other. It works very well. Whereas stuff like BlazBlue, they're targeting mainly Japan with it, so it works really well over there. It works like shit over here.
It's just thing is as well. There's a lot of games that come out that are kind of just the home version of an arcade experience.
Yeah,
and it's like BlazBlue and stuff is made for an arcade. It's not as good at home. Very
hard. I find
borderline impossible to play with a control pad as well. You need a stick for some of those games.
Sometimes, yeah. To pull off some of the moves, it's much easier on a stick. But yeah, I think that answers that question, really.
Right. Next question. Smash Brothers Melee. Great Bay map. Bob-ombs and party balls only. Who breaks the controller first?
Me.
Yeah, but I only break it over the head of the prick who picked them settings.
Rick.
Yeah. And then I take your Wavebird.
No, it's fucking... That... The thing is, like, with Smash Bros, I used to get more annoyed the more things that were happening in a stage. Like, it was like, let me just fucking hit him.
Yeah, it's like professional, pro level Smash Brothers.
I don't even know how it works. I've never watched it.
They just turn all the items off. And it's just level one another.
Well,
that's where the one ball combo Happy Feet thing comes from.
Oh,
that's Smash Brothers.
Right.
And that's another one. That became fucking common parlance between us as a group of people. But I haven't seen what it was. And then when I saw it, I was like, that makes it even better. Because it's literally two dudes juggling a guy and then drop kicking him off the stage. So one ball combo, Happy Feet, and then just smash him. It's amazing. Right. Got two more questions. I've kind of touched upon this one already. Which is your personal lineup for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So I've already said mine is Cyclops, Ryu, and Cable, because I'm a cheap, horrible human being.
Yeah. Well,
oh, thanks.
No, you're not. You're not. But I think the way Marvel vs. Capcom 2 plays is like, it's kind of expected. Like, it's
not like 3 where you could drop in things like Wolverine and Wesker and stuff.
If you're talking 2, I used to like using Wolverine for a start.
Yeah.
Because his Berserker Barrage was very fun to hear over and over again. Plus, I love the fucking soundtrack in that game. Can you hear it now?
Iron Man was nuts in that game.
Okay, can you hear the menu music now?
Wanna take you for a ride? Yeah, you just like something going, what the fuck is this? This game was chatting me up.
It's so good. So good. I used to like, Wolverine. I used to also use Doctor Doom.
Yes, Doctor Doom was fun.
Doctor Doom was really good. And
you used to play one of the absolutely massive hench characters as well.
No,
is that you or Dave that used to play a lot of Hulk?
Have been, yeah,
Dave used to play a lot of Hulk.
Venom. I used to use.
Oh, with his weird dive move.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Not like a great kind of composition, but it was just characters that I liked. Yeah, I was like, the thing is with Marvel vs. Capcom 2,
we didn't play enough of it.
I didn't play an awful lot of it. I only got it on the PS3 when they did the HD-ification thing, and it's always fun to go back to. And Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I could never, like, I liked, but I could never really get. I remember I used to get fucking bollocked by the manager at game because we used to have it set up on a 360. And I used to, like, when the shop was quiet, which was inevitably whenever I was working, I'd just sit there try and have a few games. And I always used to get bollocked by the manager for it.
Right. Our last question for this episode. This is from our manager, Mr. Richard. It's the best girl in Dead or Alive. Mine's that dude that dresses as a Teletubby.
What's his name? Fucking
Zach.
I want to say Zach, yeah.
Because I was never a big...
You're never a big tick game guy.
I was never a big tick game guy.
Although you move in there, you finish Bayonetta 1 and 2.
That's true.
You get in there.
Yeah, but I
Soon
never...
you're going to have a body pillow.
Absolutely fucking
Start
not.
saying Desu after everything.
No. Not going to happen. I never really played a lot of Dead or Alive.
I really liked 2, and I didn't have an Xbox, so I never played 3. 5, I don't have either, but I really liked Ayan, which is like the purple haired girl.
She's the one whose brother's the guy from Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, right, Hayabusa. I liked Ayan. Plus, she does have the largest breast size in the game, apparently. But that's not why I like her. That's not why I like her.
It fucking is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, I liked Ayan because she had this really cool kind of like corkscrew move, which was really cheap, and I used to be able to like really, really go to town with that. But yeah, Dead or Alive. Never played Virtua Fighter, you know. Like that's another thing to add. I've never played a Virtua Fighter game.
I played the one on the Saturn, because when my mate got a Saturn, we played it, so it was Virtua Fighter 3D.
The first one, or Virtua Fighter 2, or something.
Virtua Fighter 2, I think.
I'm not really sure. But I remember 5 coming out to like people fucking loving it, and it gets like
it was 5 on the PS3 or the PS2.
I want to say, what was the last one on the PS2? 5 was on the PS3 because it had that really cool snow effect on that level where like your feet would like go into the snow, and it was like that. But people like with Virtua Fighter, it's like turned into a fucking. It was really deep fighting game, really fucking deep.
I used to just play as either the guy who did Jeet Kune Do, that Jackie, or the Shaolin monk.
And
I remember that might be Jackie. Oh, there was Akira as well. He's got the
Akira with tall hair. That's who I used to play as because he had tall hair. I used to think he must be like Paul Phoenix. So there you go.
I remember I played the arse off that game and then it corrupted my game save. So I just walked into town, traded it in. Everyone was like, "You trading that in already?" It was like, and I actually remember saying to the girl in game, "It knows what the fuck it did." It was like,
no, it's a good. They're a game that like I kind of want. I've always kind of watched from afar and thought like I should probably play that, but
like you look at it and go, "I wish I wasn't shit at fighting games."
Yeah, I wish I was. Yeah, but it's like, I'm like that whenever I watch any high level pros play. It's like I wish I could do that. I'm not going to spend 500 hours playing one character.
I wish I could do that, but I am an adult. It's like
whose income does not depend on me playing this video game.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's it. That covers fighting games.
Fightan games.
So is the next one us talking about character-led brawler?
Your 3D character action game?
Yeah.
In the veins of?
That's us talking about your Devil May Cry, your Yakuza, your Bayonetta, your fucking God of War, your fucking Ninja Gaiden.
And probably the best game on the PS3.
Your God Hand.
That's PS2 for a start.
What's the best game on the PS3?
Vanquish!
Oh, shite.
To be fair, it is more of a shooter.
No, but it still falls into that.
Platinum.
Revengeance, that's another one.
Oh, Revengeance is so fucking good.
It's basically going to turn into us going, oh, sweet God, we love the Platinum games.
How mental is Bayonetta? That's
Bayonetta, a game that you kind of sit there and go, I'm glad I have my own house, because if anyone I was related to walked in on me playing this, they'd go, that's a fucking tit game. Because it was literally like, there was points playing that game where you just hear me go, the fuck is this?
All I know is like after I finished the first one, I had Fly Me to the Moon in my head for a full day.
Anyway, that is going to be our next episode. We are going to talk about mad shit in games again.
Yeah.
Because this is fun.
It is fun. It's also going to be Yakuza month.
Oh, there's a Yakuza next month. There's a God of War next month. There is.
Is that next month?
Yeah, God of War's the 20th. Yakuza's the 27th.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.